Okay, guys. If you stayed till the last of the video, you know what's going on. But if not, I'll insert it now. For you guys who stayed till the end, this is to be continued. So if you couldn't tell from that clip, I'm pressing the starter button and the engine is not turning over. It was a little more violent before I pulled out the camera, but basically what I think has happened is the ring gear for the starter on the flywheel has failed on the Chinese twin disc. When I had dropped the subframe, I dropped the oil pan because I had a shim had fallen down. I had the red line set too spicy. And when I dropped the pan, I noticed that the gear was damaged. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna have to, unfortunately, pull this whole beautiful setup out once again. But that's okay, because there's a small oil leak back here. You can see. This is probably 5,000 miles worth of driving. I also have noticed this fitting is leaking, and I think this water hose back here for my heater line is also barely leaking. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that whole hose and maybe the whole steel shaft that's going through there. And then the one other leak I found was this fitting, the inside fitting, is actually leaking, which is why it's not. The reason why this is dirty is because this breathes atmosphere, so inevitably some oil shoots out of there, even though this is baffled quite a bit. Anyway, long story short, we're going to pull the engine. I don't have the money right now. I'm saving for a building, as I've said in the last video. So we kept our stage 3 clutch with a lightweight flywheel, but the reason why I didn't reuse it is because these springs are coming out. I kind of re-engineered the way the transmission bolts to the adapter plate when I put the built engine in, and I don't think there's near as much vibration as there used to be. So I went ahead and bought another disc. It is enclosed springs, so even if we do have vibration, they're not going to try to fly out like this. And the pressure plate's good, and the flywheel's good. So we're going to reuse this setup. This worked just fine, so it should work just fine, which is why I'm leaning towards the flywheel being the issue and not something else. But yeah, enough talking. Let's use YouTube magic and get this engine out of the car. Hour and a half later, engine's out. I always find it funny the trans is bigger than the engine. My verdict, the starter gear is fine. It just has some wear on it, but it looks fine. And the flywheel looks destroyed. You can see I'm not touching the whole ring, and that's because of that spacer right there. But I used that spacer on that clutch setup, and that flywheel is just fine. So Chinese flywheel, no good. I had the patience to break it in, which most people don't do. So I don't think they had this problem. Plus, I'm a 2.2 with 10-to-1 compression. So there's a lot more force that's being applied than a stock DET. That's all I gotta say. Like, I didn't change anything from that setup to this setup, except for making it a bigger leader, but I don't know. I already ordered a clutch, and it's just, I'll run this setup again. And we'll keep this twin disc and we'll see what we can do. Because I have a bad starter there, but I have an OEM flywheel here. And I could come and lathe this ring gear off, and then lathe the bad ring gear off and weld that ring gear to this. I don't know if I want to get that intricate, but it is an option, so I'm not going to throw away any of this. But yeah, I think the leak, as you can see there, oil, I think it's coming from here. I've even with their O-rings, I had an issue with this sealing. I always have. So I've actually ended up having to mega gray the bolts themselves, and that's probably what I'm going to have to do again. Looks like this is wet too, so this seal's not sealing. That's not pressured, so we'll clean it, and I'll just put mega gray on the outside, and it should be fine. Yeah. Besides that, the engine's still clean. Manifold's looking good. Turbo looks brand new, which is good. No blow by or, you know, oiling issues coming out of that. Yeah. Trans off. Flywheel. Definitely some heat spots for 0 clutch kicks. 0 launches. Yeah. Probably 400 horsepower. A lot of heat spots. You can see some grooves forming in the flywheel side. More heat spots. A lot of heat spots. Material failing. A really big heat spot. More material and more heat spots. Let's try to pry that open. That has tons of clutch kicks, 360 something horsepower to the wheels, so probably 400 to the wheels on that. Let's look at that. Okay, you can see here the clutch is properly seated, but 0 heat spots. Same with the flywheel. It's seated. There's a little uneven wear here. I don't know what's going on there. I think that was the disc. This is the flywheel side. So maybe, yeah, that. Whatever caused that, that's what we're seeing on the flywheel. But no heat spots. This is supposed to hold twice as much power as this. But you can see, and I spent more time breaking in this clutch than I did this clutch. By a long shot. I didn't care about this. I threw this in. I drove it for 20 miles and then I clutch kicked and full boost. We're going toge. So, yeah, that's why we're reusing this and we're just replacing that disc. But yeah, Chinese, no good. I talked about it in the build series. It's the only, like, thing that matters that's Chinese on this car. Little shit like AN fittings and stuff like that are still Chinese, but I replace those every couple of years just to make sure they're okay. But everything, you know, the engine, no expense spared, all the turbos made in the USA, the manifold I built, you know, nothing's, you know, everything's name brand, no expense spared, and I ran out of money. I couldn't spend $2,300 on a twin disc that has a central hub because that's the most important thing for my swap. So I have full engagement on this. But yeah. Bummer. Okay. So I could see some people arguing that it was that half the tooth was not being engaged. So I put the Chinese flywheel with the OEM, or actually this is another Chinese flywheel, but it's just a lightweight chromoly. And it worked. I had it in the car. And if you look, these are pretty spot on. Way off. I mean, completely not in the correct place. And then it starts coming back. And then lined up again, lined up again, lined up. And you can see already it's off. That should help. So you can't see the tooth behind it. And then the tooth, you can start seeing that bottom tooth. And then you can clearly see the bottom tooth. Then it starts lining up again. And then it gets off again. So that has been a big problem. I have had a starting, and when the engine's trying to start, it will stop cranking. And I've wondered if it's the battery or what, but I haven't changed anything. I was wondering if maybe the cam angle sensor wasn't working, but it's the industry standard for SRs. So what it is it's taking twice the amount of voltage to turn it right there because the teeth are completely misaligned. Fuck Adlerspeed. They sell a shitty ass product. And on top of that, I have one of their fittings. This 180 degree fitting. It leaks as well. Now, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. This got sandblasted and it doesn't look like that's a very good sealing surface. So, I'm going to clean that up. But if this gets cleaned up and that still leaks, fuck Adlerspeed. Fuck them anyway, because they're not going to answer my goddamn emails. They never did when I tried to buy it. But, yeah. $600 down the drain. Lesson, don't buy Chinese shit. Oh, man. Got the lightweight flywheel on for a single disc clutch. Got the ARP hardware torqued and Loctited. Went through, made sure my drain line was all good and tight for all the clamps. And I went through and I actually found that this was leaking. So I took the Teflon out, I mega graded instead of Tefloned it, and I replaced all the hoses. So I had a coolant leak here, a coolant leak there. I also noticed when I was taking it out that the catch can, the swirl can, the bottom of it also had a leak. So I was leaking coolant everywhere. So thankfully we've got all that addressed now. Even have a longer hose for this, so it can kind of be out of the way more now. Yeah, fix that water leak. I also drained the diff fluid, and I took out the royal purple, and we're going really heavyweight to try to get rid of the whine. I also took off the rear sway bar, and you can see the noticeable difference in outer diameter. So we're going to put this one on. Hopefully it fits, because this one was a pretty tight squeeze. All I got to steal is these brackets. So we need to clean these brackets up. And last thing, I have new spacers for back here, just because these are getting old and the threads are kind of rusting. And last time I took the wheels off, this thread decided to leave chat, so I want to get on top of it, replace these. So I have new ones of these, but it's too big of a centering ring, so I have to put them in the lathe, just like how we did the fronts, which I don't think I showed you, but that's basically what I did. I just took out the centering ring. Yeah, the clutch is at the house, so honestly I'm pretty much ready to go. As promised, next clip is of the BET idling, and we're bleeding it right now. Yeah, starter sounds great. I haven't put it in gear yet, but it should be fine. The little issue I had of it losing power while cranking over is gone. So it was all this. So my verdict is do not buy Adlerspeed twin disc clutches. Throw it in the junk pile. But that's gonna do it for this week. I'm gonna get this thing on the ground. We got new diff fluid in it. I've got to put the sway bar in, but I got to take the exhaust back off to do that. So I'm gonna bleed it first. But yeah, hopefully we'll be togaing or dynoing next video. See you guys.